everyone, it's me, Katie-Beth again, and today is a story slash history slash come along with me on this adventure type of day. So this month, my sister and I took a quick little weekend trip to Seattle, Washington to visit the first slash original Starbucks and the first slash original Starbucks Reserve Roastery. I'm not sure which one of those is. Starbucks Reserve Roastery is how I think it goes. Well, they're both in the same city, Seattle. So basically the U.S. motherland type of place for fancy coffee. That's where we went to visit. The original Starbucks is located on 1912 Pike Place in the Pike Place Marketplace in downtown Seattle. But before you get there, they try to trick you with a decoy Starbucks. The decoy Starbucks is in the view of Pike Place Market and basically on the same block, but the address is 102 Pike Place, not 1912, and it had us fooled. See in this picture? Look at this happy fool. Fool there, thinking that she had found the original Starbucks so easily. Fool. That's me, I'm the fool. But once we got inside, I was confused at how modern everything was. I had read online that the original had kept its original spice shop type of appearance for historical significance. However, this just seemed like every other Starbucks I have ever seen in my entire life. But the lady in line with us, she started commenting about how much more manageable this line was than the line for the original store. And I was like, what? This isn't the original store? And she explained to us that the original store was just around the corner and we were in a decoy Starbucks. So we promptly left and walked around the corner and found the actual line, which was long and very slow to move. But with the Seattle morning weather being like 65 degrees, just standing there wasn't too bad. It's kind of heaven to be outside and not be dripping sweat like we are back home. So a little bit of history. Starbucks opened in 1971 and started out as a basic coffee bean, tea shop, spice type of store, according to the Starbucks history site itself. But in the early 80s, its main investor slash owner became interested in Europe's fancy cappuccinos and other coffee drinks. And in about 1984, 1985, he brought that zeal back to Seattle and Starbucks started selling brewed coffees. Not just the beans like it had previously been doing. As well as starting to sell other like espressos and lattes, which was new to us back then, I guess. So this started taking off, and by the late 1980s, Starbucks had expanded to 17 stores, including a store or two in Canada. So pretty cool. But back to the flagship store. Because it was only built to be basically a spice shop, it's pretty small, and since it's such a popular attraction nowadays, the baristas only allow a certain amount of people in the store at a time. And we got to the front and inside, the people expediter type of barista gave us the rules.
At the register, we have these guys. Point to whatever picture of whatever you want. We'll grab anything brand new and box it up for you so it's safe for the journey home. And that's also where you order drinks. So we try to make it as easy as possible. You just get everything over there. Okay? Enjoy. Any questions? I'm right here. Thank you guys. Have a good time. Absolutely. When you're ready, just hop back on that line.
So basically, once in the shop, we were allowed to get out of line and look and touch at the different examples of merchandise. But then we went back in line to order our drinks and get our merchandise. And it's basically just like a sheet, kind of like when you go to Chick-fil-A where you just point at what you want. I got this 1912 Park Place glass little tumbler. Probably like a grande size. And it was $20 if you're wondering about how much their merchandise costs. Pretty much the same price of merchandise for all the Starbucks. So overall, flying to Seattle is a very long journey, and the line is a very long wait to see this tiny little Starbucks store. But, you know, it's really kind of a priceless experience, and I had some great bonding time with my sister, so worth it. But our original Starbucks experience was not over yet. And the next morning, we walked ourselves over to the original first Starbucks Reserve Roastery, and it was only about 0.6 miles from our hotel that we were staying at, which is right by the Pike Place Market. So from the State Hotel, which is where we were staying, the walk was pretty much uphill the entire way. But when you see the calories that I ordered, you'll think, yeah, good, she needs that exercise. And I did. So here we are arriving to the first Starbucks Roastery Reserve, which wasn't built until 2014, which explains why I hadn't been aware of it when I worked at Starbucks back in the day in my college days, because I stopped working at Starbucks, I believe, in about 2006, so that's why a Starbucks Reserve Roastery was new news to me. So this Starbucks Roastery is located on 1124 Pike Street, just about 9 blocks from the first Starbucks on 1912 Pike Place. So according to Starbucks themselves, the goal behind creating this store was to create for our customers the most immersive sensory demonstration of how we source, roast, and craft the finest coffee from around the world. But personally, I believe the main attraction oddity of this place is that it had a full coffee-themed alcoholic bar, which my little elky soul was squealing with excitement at this in a Starbucks. So I walked myself right on over to that bar and ordered a drink or two.
So I'm going to prepare the whiskey barrel-aged comparison flight today. It's going to be a shot of our whiskey barrel-aged cold brew, which is going to be coffee that was aged in a Knobs Creek whiskey barrel, giving a flavor profile of whiskey, and then a shot of Knobs Creek bourbon beside it.
How are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. Let me know if you have any questions while looking. If we're looking at the digital menu.
Ew.
For you, it's going to be on your right is your Knobs Creek. On your left is going to be your cold brew. Just go ahead and read through that little slip for me, and then knock yourself out. There's
Thank
also
you.
a little whiskey barrel coffee card there that explains like the whiskey barrel coffee, the aromas, the flavors, and the process. So if you want to
It's a barrel-aged coffee. It's like some splashy coffee that I splashed on myself. And then this is the Knob Creek. It has a little bit of a smoky flavor, the coffee, but it doesn't scream whiskey at me like whiskey does. Now that you've seen the main attraction, let me give you a quick tour of the rest of the place. So something I wasn't prepared for, the bathroom is unisex. I quickly scurried out when I walked in and saw a man in there washing his hands. I thought I had walked into the wrong restroom and didn't want to see anything I wasn't supposed to see, but then I saw the sign and realized what was happening. So a fun/weird kind of thing is that you can watch the coffee beans being packed up to be sent away while you're washing your hands. It's very interesting. And speaking of the coffee bean process, we got to learn some pretty cool factoids from some of the roasting specialists.
So we're going to be starting up here with 225 pounds of green coffee. We'll drop that coffee into the roaster. We spend about 12 minutes inside the roaster. Once we've completed roast, we're going to bring that coffee out onto the front tray here. We're going to spend 5 minutes cooling the coffee down to room temperature. Once we've completed cooling, we'll go ahead and open up our hatch here and start de-stoning the coffee, removing any rocks or stones from the back. So it's kind of like sucking up a broken straw. So basically we have a vacuum there, but there's a little air gap on the back of it. So essentially when it's pulling up, it's got this little air gap that's going this way. So if it's heavier than a coffee bean, it's too heavy to get above that air gap. It just stays down low. The hollow beans, the roasted beans, are light enough to get above that air gap, and then they go. You can essentially, it's a screen down below that all those rocks will just stay on afterwards. What I'm doing with the bean is I'm heating up a little bit of liquid that's in that bean. heat up liquid, liquid turns to gas, and gas expands. So we're blowing up that bean just like a piece of popcorn. It blows up, and the seam pops. We get that seam to pop, we get oil escapes the bean. And that oil plus heat are going to drive Maillard reactions. Those Maillard chemical reactions are the same reactions as getting a crust on a loaf of bread. The same way you caramelize onions. So that same way you get that nice sweet crust on a loaf of bread, that's how we do the same thing here with coffee. As we continue to go up in temperature, we'll get a second crack on the coffee. Releases more oil. Darker crust. Now your dark crust. This is single crack coffee. We allow it to crack once, we allow the oil to come out, we allow some development, and we bring that coffee out. Keep going up in temperature, at second crack, all oil. At that point, we'll pass through a scale and take this chain-based system here, deposit the coffee behind the centerpiece of the store into a silo, and we'll store it in there until we're ready to package it, and we'll bring it down here to the line here, bag it up, box it up, and get it ready to ship out.
Thank you.
Grinding process, we get a couple of little rocks in here. These are the things that break your grinders. I don't have any more. That's a real lame one. Usually they get more. It's good clean coffee. But we did catch a rock on this guy.
Oh my gosh, how about that?
And that's ultimately it. It'll take little tiny beans, like beans that are misshapen, beans that don't roast right, but primarily rocks. There goes the last cycle that we just roasted, moving its way.
So after seeing the main roasting process, my sister pointed out that there's a smaller roasting machine upstairs, and we asked about it. So the audio clip on this was covered up pretty much by that adrenaline pumping music that the store had playing. But basically, the big roaster downstairs is for everything that's going outside being shipped out, and the little roaster upstairs is for the fresh brewed type of stuff they sell in the store. So you're getting all your fresh roasted beans made in that little one upstairs, especially at this little booth over on the side. That's really where they serve their fresh coffee. So big roaster downstairs for stuff that's going out, and little roaster upstairs for the fresh coffee that's you're getting there that's been roasted basically within the last 7 days or less. So aside from all of these cool things, we also noticed that this Starbucks had completely different food items than most Starbucks do. I'm not saying all of them were better, they were just different than what we were used to. I ordered a sandwich, 2 pastries, and a coffee malt, which was basically just a coffee-flavored milkshake, but interesting and new, and made with actual real ice cream, which was cool. She's pouring coffee over. My sister ordered a crazy ornate oatmeal, which actually looked really good, a croissant, and a cappuccino. I didn't end up buying any souvenirs at this site, but they did have a lot of choices. So that was our sister trip to the original Starbucks store. Super sensory stimulating. Wow, that's a stretch. Really, I just love sticking alliteration into speech. Well, thanks for joining us on our adventure today. I love and appreciate all of you for watching and subscribing. Thank you so much. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.